Welcome in, everyone, to Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, and 2019's first edition of the Top 25 that actually makes sense. The Top 25 that actually makes sense. So I started doing this, I believe it was last season. I don't think we did one the year before. So I took my shot at creating Top 25s, both preseason and in season from time to time. But basically, what I've seen through the years have been illogical decisions made in ranking the top 25 teams in the nation on a regular basis by both the coaches, or it's usually not the coaches, it's the sports information directors acting in the coach's place, and it's also the sports writers basically having a preconception of who's good and who's not good, and that's fine for the preseason poll because we don't have anything to go by. So what disturbs me about the preseason polls is that some people just tell you these are the 25 teams that I believe are the top 25 teams. Just they're the best, 1 through 25. The number one team, I believe, is the best team in the country. Number two is the second best team in the country, regardless of who they play. I just believe these are the 25 best teams in the country, and that's their preseason poll. A lot of other people, what they try to do, and there's no right or wrong here, but this just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, is that they look at the schedule and they say, you know what? I think this is the best team in the country, but wow, their schedule's tough. So I'm going to rank them number 8. And this other team, they're like the 20th best team in the country, but man, they got an easy schedule, so they're going to win 10 games, so they're going to finish number 11. And so they select their 25 best teams based on the schedule. And basically, they're telling us what they think the finish is going to be at the end of the season. They're making a projection or prediction mostly based on the schedule. I think that's idiotic as well. All right, what I do is I have not released a preseason top 25 poll. I should probably do that. It's clickbait. People love to see it and debate on it. So I should do that during the offseason, is give you a top 25 teams in the nation. I give you my predictions as I did right before the season. But once they've played a game, we have something to go on. Now, make no mistake about it, there have to be assumptions made. Even at the conclusion of the season, there have to be some assumptions made, but especially after only one game's been played, there have to be assumptions made on who's good and who's not so good. You can't completely go by just results, because how do you compare teams if you don't make some level of assumption? So there is some assumption made. I'm not going to disregard that or try to talk that away in any way, that there is some assumption made here. But these are based strictly on results. And the best example I can give you of that is Maryland. So over the past two seasons, 2017 and 18, in week 1, Maryland beat Texas. Texas wasn't so good in 2017 coming off of 2016. But in 2018, they were expected to be pretty good, and they turned out to be pretty good. Really good. Top 10, good. Sugar Bowl win, good. Maryland beat Texas in week 1, and that's all we had to go on. I knew that Maryland was not a top 10 or 15 or 25 team even. I knew it. I didn't know it. Nobody knew it. But I was about 99% sure that Maryland wasn't that good. But what did we have to go on after week 1? Maryland beat Texas, and we had to make somewhat of an assumption about Texas and everybody across the country about how good they were. And we made an assumption that Texas was pretty good. Even though they lost to Maryland, they were going to be pretty good. They were going to contend in the Big 12. And they did. They made it all the way to the championship game. But Maryland won that game. So after 1 week, Maryland had a really good win on its schedule. Right? So I ranked them, I don't remember exactly where, 8th, 13th, whatever it was. And people went crazy. You're an idiot. Maryland's not the 8th best team in the country. I didn't say that they were the 8th best team in the country. I said they had the 8th best resume. That's what this is about, not telling you I think this is going to happen in November and therefore, you know what, even though it happened this way and this team's not performing that way now, I'm projecting ahead. No, let's rank the teams based on the results on the field. Right now, we've got 1 week of play. We've got one game in the book. So I'm giving it my best shot. I'm not saying that these are the perfect rankings. I'm saying that they're logical at least. They are logical rankings based on winning games. That's first and foremost. Win the game. Secondly, who did you beat? And again, there have to be assumptions made there. We just saw Auburn beat Oregon in what we all think is a really good matchup between two teams that are really good. But what if Oregon goes 2-10? Then that win looks a lot different in November for Auburn than it does now. And I will make the adjustments based on that. If Oregon turns out to be a dumpster fire, then that win is, if anything, it's going to look bad on Auburn. That's probably not going to happen, and Oregon's going to be anywhere from 10-2 to 8-4. All right, let's run it down, and here it is. This is going to be unlike any other top 25 that you've seen because everybody else just takes their preseason poll and just tweaks it a little bit. No, this is based on what happened last weekend. Here we go, top 25 teams in the nation, and believe me, there were about 15 to 20 other teams that I considered placing in the top 25. So if there's a team that you believe should be ranked in the top 25, let me know. I probably considered them. There is only one team in the top 25 with a losing record, 0-1 right now. Because I'm basing it on you got to win the game, but we're considering who you played. So Maryland beating Howard. Yes, they won the game, but they played Howard. Oregon lost its game, but they played Auburn. And they were winning most of the game, and they performed. So it's about winning the game. It's about who you played, and it's about how well you played. So if Alabama would have beaten Duke 31-28, they would be ranked much differently for me than they are having blown out Duke 42-3. All right, here's the top 25. Without further ado, join our Voice of College Football community as I predict these games. I just don't rank the teams. I predict the games. 16-11 against the spread thus far this season at 59+%. It's pretty good. Voice of College Football community down in the description section below. Grab that link and sign up. All right. Top 25 that actually makes sense. Here it goes. Number 25 is Washington State. 24, Washington. Kentucky's number 23. Texas A&M, number 22. Memphis at 21. Here's your top 20. Florida at 20. Nevada, 19. Oklahoma's 18. Number 17. The number 17 team in the country. Are they the 17th best team in the country? Probably not. But right now, they deserve and have earned this ranking. Wyoming's at 17. Michigan State, 16. Ohio State, 15. Oregon's at 14. And again, ask whatever questions you'd like. Leave your comments in the comment section, and I will get to them. Utah at 13. Boston College at 12. North Carolina, 11. Here's your top 10. Virginia. Stanford at 9. LSU, 8. Wisconsin's at number 7. Georgia, 6. Here's your top 5 teams in the country. At number 5 is Texas. Number 4 is Boise State. At number 3, Clemson. Alabama's number 2, and the number 1 team in college football after 1 week is Auburn. And again, let me make a case example out of Auburn. People are going to say, they are not the best team in the country, Mark. And I'll say, you're probably right. They're not the best team in the country, but they've got the best win in the country, and everybody's only played 1 game. So when Auburn loses a game, they will drop. That's how we do it at the top 25 Voice of College Football that actually makes sense. We will see you soon.